Welcome to the 3-Minute Mandate. Today, we're cleaning up the January 2026 shooting of Alex Pretti in Minneapolis. We're stripping away the politics to look at the legal architecture of a licensed carrier in a federal zone. The mess. Federal agents are conducting a surge operation on Nicollet Avenue. Alex Pretti, an ICU nurse with a valid Minnesota permit to carry, is on the sidewalk filming. A confrontation breaks out. Agents tackle Pretti. Moments later, 11 shots are fired. The government calls him an armed assassin. Witnesses and video show a man pinned to the ground holding a cell phone. To clean this up, we have to look at the two legal modules that collided: the duty of the carrier and the restraint of the state. Side A, the carrier's responsibility, Second Amendment and state law. Let's talk Side A, the license. Under Minnesota Statute 624.714, a permit to carry is a conditional right. The law is explicit. You must have your permit and photo ID in your immediate possession at all times while carrying. If a carrier refuses to identify or refuses to disarm when a scene is being secured, they aren't just exercising a right, they are breaching the permit's legal contract. In the eyes of the Second Amendment, you have the right to bear the arm, but in the eyes of the Fourth Amendment, an officer has the right to secure that arm during a lawful detention for safety. If you withhold your ID while armed, you have legally shifted your status from protected citizen to armed unknown. That is a critical logic error that escalates the threat level instantly. Side B, the state's restraint, Fourth Amendment, and due process. Now, Side B, the force. Even if a carrier fails the ID test, the government doesn't get a God mode pass. Under the Fourth Amendment and the Supreme Court's ruling in Graham v. Connor, force must be objectively reasonable. If video confirms Pretti was tackled, pinned, and his weapon was secured by agents before the shots were fired, the narrative of defensive fire fails the legal check. The 14th Amendment guarantees due process. You cannot be executed for the misdemeanor of failure to display a permit. If the threat was neutralized on the ground, those 11 shots weren't law enforcement, they were a system crash. The mandate is simple: if you carry the card. Your ID is the driver for your Second Amendment hardware. But to the state, a badge is not a license to ignore the Fourth Amendment. When both sides fail the code, the Constitution bleeds. Until the next time, practice good government as an informed citizen.